Since President Trump took office, his presidency has been chaotic, confusing, and concerning for people on both sides of the political divide. Allan Lichtman, a political historian known as the prediction professor, was one of a very few that predicted correctly the outcome of the presidential race. He's now written a new book called The Case for Impeachment, in which he lays out 8 ways Trump could be impeached before his time in office ends. And Allan Lichtman joins me now from Bethesda, Maryland. Allan, good to see you.
Same here.
So a lot has happened since you wrote your book. Has Trump done anything since to change your mind about him possibly being impeached?
No, in some ways he's strengthened the case for impeachment. For example, I recommend in the book that Trump divest himself from all his business interests. He didn't do that. Yeah, his kids may be running his businesses, but he profits from everything. And there's something in the U.S. Constitution called the Emoluments Clause, which says a president shouldn't be taking anything of value from a foreign government. And it's an absolute prohibition. No quid pro quo is required. And he's already received final approval for 38 potentially lucrative trademarks from China, directly clashing against the Constitution. And of course, here at home, his businesses stand to benefit from so many decisions his administration makes on labor, on trade and regulation, and of course on taxes. And he personally may benefit to the tune of hundreds of millions or even billions of dollars from his own tax cut proposals. And this is the rub. The American people and the Congress should not have to guess where the national interest leaves off and Trump's pocketbook interest kicks in.
All right, so there are many paths to impeachment based on what you're telling us. Is there one, Allan, that you think is the most likely to happen?
I think perhaps the most likely is the Russian scenario. I write in my book that there is a Russian sword of Damocles hanging over this administration. Never had a first-term president come into office with 3 serious federal investigations ongoing. If those investigations uncover any collusion between the Trump team and Russia's reprehensible attack on American democracy, and Trump knew about it, that's a serious crime. It's called misprision of treason, failure to report treasonous acts. And if Trump himself, heaven forbid, was colluding with the Russians, he could become the first president charged with treason, an explicit ground for impeachment. And so far, the way they've dealt with it has had all the hallmarks of a Nixon cover-up. Deny, conceal, deceive. And then when you're caught communicating with the Russians, say, oh, it was all innocuous anyway, just like Watergate was just a third-rate burglary.
And in your book, you draw a number of comparisons between Richard Nixon and Donald Trump. Explain why the two are so similar, Allan.
Yeah, it's quite ironic because they were brought up in utterly different circumstances. Nixon, of course, was raised in a very modest home. Donald Trump was the heir to riches. And Nixon was, of course, an experienced politician. Trump isn't. But beyond that, both men see themselves as beset by enemies. They're both at war with the free press because they want to totally control the narrative around them. They are seething with resentment against a so-called establishment. Neither man has much respect for the law, for American tradition, for American institutions, and seemingly is focused upon themselves above all. Those are some of the many comparisons.
And also a loathing of the media. Now, in order to be impeached, Allan, there needs to be cooperation of Congress and, in some cases, people within the president's inner circle, as I understand it. Do you really see that happening?
There doesn't have to be any cooperation from the president's inner circle for impeachment. The framers explicitly put impeachment in the hands of the Congress, people's body. They didn't put it in the court, so it's not a legal process. It's a political, legal, moral process. Now, the first rule for incumbent politicians is survival. Every Republican in the U.S. House will be up for re-election in 2018. If they believe that Donald Trump has become a liability to them, they could well turn against him. And if Democrats stand firm, it would only take some 24 Republicans to join with them for a House majority. That's just 10% of Republicans in the House. And, of course, many Republicans might prefer to see Mike Pence, the predictable, down-the-line conservative they know well, rather than the loose cannon Donald Trump. Of course, conviction in the Senate, the second step of the process, is much harder. That takes a two-thirds vote, and that would take a truly serious transgression, but we could well see that.
You end the book with a letter of sorts to Trump advising him on how to avoid impeachment. One of those recommendations is to fire Steve Bannon. Do you think that Trump will take your advice? And we know that the president reached out to you after you predicted his win. He congratulated you. Have you heard from him?
I haven't. I've asked him to read my book. I've asked him to reach out to me again. You never know with Donald Trump. You know, he's got a tremendous Twitter finger there. And I'm waiting for him to reach out, and the president and I can have a discussion of how we can avoid impeachment and serve the first 4 years of his term.
It's a great read. Loved it. The Case for Impeachment. Allan Lichtman, so glad you were able to join us this morning. Thanks for your time.
My pleasure. Good.
All the best.